today's video, I'd just like to share that 94% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you are feeling generous, be sure to drop a like and a sub, and let's get right into today's video. Thank you. Howdy, I'm Daxio, and this is Plugged In News. And in today's pin update, we have Psaki brushes off question over why Biden is mandating vaccines for companies with 100 employees but not migrants coming across the border. And for the second story, we have thousands protest new Turkish vaccine and test rules. Let's get right into that. And the first story is coming from thedailymail.com by Jeff Early, and it is Psaki brushes off question over why Biden is mandating vaccines for companies with 100 employees but not migrants coming across the border. Let's get right into that. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki brushed off a question at Friday's press briefing about the new vaccine mandate for employers with more than 100 workers and why it should not also apply to migrants at the southern border. She got asked about the juxtaposed policies by Fox News correspondent Peter Dossi, who regularly peppers Biden with questions about the border. The reporter at first asked her, "Why is it that you're trying to require anybody with a job or anybody who has a job or anybody who goes to school to get a COVID-19 vaccine, but you're not requiring that of migrants who continue to walk across the southern border?" Psaki responded that the objective is to get as many people vaccinated across the country as humanly possible, adding that when more people are vaccinated, whether they are migrants or whether they are workers, protects more people in the United States. Dossi then pressed Psaki, saying, "Vaccines are required for people at businesses with more than 100 people. Is it not a requirement for migrants at the border? Why?" "That's correct," Psaki responded, quickly brushing off the question and moving on. The Homeland Security Department said in a report earlier last month that it was monitoring the situation at the border but did not make the final decision on whether to provide Johnson & Johnson shots to migrants who come into U.S. custody. According to a report last month, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been stepping up vaccinations, but thousands of immigrants have refused. Interesting. DHS is not conducting enforcement activities near vaccination sites in an effort to boost vaccines. Some Republicans, including Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts, has argued against vaccinating immigrants without legal status. Officials want to guard against outbreaks at U.S. facilities and avoid further spread within the community. I don't think personally you're not going to stop furthering spread in the community if you're constantly letting people that may or may not have COVID, constantly letting immigrants or refugees that may or may not have COVID into the United States, whether that's from the southern border or whether that's from Kabul and Afghanistan. Either which way, you are still accepting people into this country that may or may not have COVID and may or may not be vaccinated. So what I would propose is that maybe we close our borders again. Considering that once Biden opened up the borders, COVID started spiking. But hey, that's just me. Anyways, if you want to get your vaccination, make sure you talk to your doctor beforehand. That's what YouTube wants me to tell you, or else I get banned. So, all right, and for the next story today, this is coming from Routers, and it is thousands protest new Turkish vaccine and test rules. And I just wanted to report on this because, again, I wanted to share that not only are Americans protesting the vaccine mandates and the lockdowns and everything else and the mask mandates, but Turkey is, Australia, France, all these countries. It's not just Americans and it's not just dumb Trump supporters, all right? So let's get right into this. And it goes on to read, more than 2,000 Turks demonstrated in Istanbul on Saturday against official coronavirus-related mandates, including vaccinations, tests, and masks, responding to new government measures and an inclination push. In Turkey's largest protest, mostly maskless people shouted slogans, held placards and Turkish flags, and sang songs in defense of what they called individual rights, echoing anti-vaccine rallies in some other countries. This pandemic is just going on with even more restrictions on our freedoms, and there's no end to it, said Erdem Baz, 40, a software developer. Masks, vaccines, PCR tests might all become mandatory. We're here to voice our discontent with this. On Monday, the government began requiring proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test for all of its intercity planes, buses, and trains, as well as those attending large events such as concerts or theater performances. All unvaccinated school employees are required to take a PCR test twice a week. Masks and social distancing are required in public. Some 64% of Turks have received 2 vaccine shots under a national program that has administered more than 100 million vaccine jabs. Still, around 23,000 new cases emerge daily, prompting the health minister to warn this of a pandemic of the unvaccinated. So again, he's saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and obviously it's their choice whether or not to get vaccinated, unless the government wants to come in and tell them otherwise. But if it is their choice, then why does it matter to you? If you guys are vaccinated, you should be good then, right? Right. That's what I thought. So, anyways, if you did enjoy today's video, drop a like, drop a sub down below, drop a comment, let me know how I'm doing, let me know what I can do to improve, and thanks for staying plugged in. Peace out, crew.